What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here, welcoming you to part 25 and the very last part of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Blood Dragons Immortal Empires campaign. So as we saw last time in the first part of the finale, we had 6 glorious battles, 3 sieges, and 3 big old duel battles, and the errant duelist did certainly duel, maxing out his defeat traits. I didn't think we had already reached the max number, but it looks like we did, and sadly, though the episode did culminate in a grand duel against Grimgor Ironhide, we didn't get his own defeat trait, though we did get the errant duelist version of it, so still good. Still good. So this will be the final episode, and this time around we're going to do a few more time skips and jump around, maybe get a couple more duels with Abarash, but I more or less consider his story to be finished, as we've done all the defeats, and our defeat traits, or at the very least regular ones, and we've got all the worthy foe battles under our belt. The key things will be to get the final battle for Anarch von Karstein at Nashazar, and probably for the Abyssal Revenant at Lothern, though just in case there's nothing good at Lothern, we're going to fight this one cinematically as well, as a Witch Hunter army has conveniently spawned here, so why not make use of that. Abarash may find a few things to fight if we can find Kugath, or we can find a big old stack of undead. We could do those, but at the end of the day we'll finish off the episode with the Brothers of the Black Grail quest, which we are saving specifically for this. So, let's get started, and I guess we're going to get started with you, Abyssal Revenant. Guess we need to level up. Oh, right, I forgot that you lost all your levels. Well, maybe forgot isn't quite the right word, but you surely did. Let's get your Monkey Jacket, Warriors of the Wandering Path, and for Honor and Glory, mostly to get you Immortal Horror, and I guess we'll level up your little minions as well. I should have done this between the episodes, but you know, at the end of the day it's also not the most important thing in the world. Increase mobility. We can make you fight harder, but you're already pretty darn good, Mr. Dagon. Let's get you Tide Call and Warp Lightning, and I guess another point in Tide Call. A little bit more likely to be using it than Warp Lightning, mostly because our forces run enemies down fairly quickly. You can get Mentor. Oh, I don't even know why I'm bothering to get Mentor at this point in time. Definitely get Scarred Vet, though. And I think I would prioritize Swashbuckler over Cutlass. Oh. I didn't realize this has bonus versus infantry. Alright, Cutlass it is. Scarred Vet, Mentor, just because I already did it. And that's good. Alrighty, let's jump into our first little cinematic fight, and let's hope we've got a bunch of hunters. Nothing crazy here, though. Oh, wait. They've got some Knights Griffin Chapter Knights. Huh, I'm not sure that we've seen these, or maybe I think we've seen them maybe once in this army, but I'm glad that they're here. And the Inquisition Kill Squad, because we just got the Depth Guard Sea Serpent Reavers, which we've only seen in allied forces and not our own, and we can hopefully make them try to fight against the Knights Griffin. Should be a relatively even fight, in fact. Alright. Interesting times call for interesting measures. Away we go. Battle 1. There will be slaughter in the water. Here we go. And isn't it just the most appropriate, the most thematic, I should say, to have this battle under the maelstrom? Too bad it wasn't full of vampire cants, but you know what? It's this way it isn't so much like Depth Guard fighting Depth Guard, but something a little bit different instead. And this may very well be the final battle for the Abyssal Revenants, so we are damn well going to try our best to enjoy it. Now, what we've got going on here in terms of the setup and what we're doing briefly. First of all, we have our ship back here, just because it's cool. I just like this vantage point over it. Plus, since this is the Maelstrom / the Galleon's graveyard, we got broken ships everywhere, plus our, not so broken ship providing support. Over on the flanks, we have deployed all of our Depth Guard Sea Serpent Reavers, which is going to be their first time and possibly their only time to shine. Of course, we've seen them a number of times already in allied armies, but they're going to be dueling enemy units of Knights of Griffin chapter knights as well. So a bit of a one-on-one between them, and these guys have pretty solid stats as well, so we'll see how they fare. Most of our army is actually going to sit back otherwise, allowing the Snakes to duel and the Abyssal Revenant to do some things, but we are going to send in the Empty Dead and the named units of Elder Reavers. They haven't had too many fights, though they certainly have had more than the Snakes. Anyway, speaking of the Snakes, it's time for them to duel. And damn, they certainly make those knights look small with the vantage point each rider is offered by that Necro Serpent. Or Sea Revenant. Depth Guard Sea Serpent, whatever. They can certainly poke away at the enemy from up there. And it'll probably be difficult to reach them even with the lance. Looks like we're doing pretty well, though. The charge has carried the damage, and the Knights Griffin chapter knights are down below half their HP. There are a bunch of halberdiers around as well, but we're going to allow the Revenant Haunters, since they also didn't have a crazy amount of time to shine throughout the campaign, though much more than everybody else in this army, I think, or all the newer units in this army. They're going to keep the halberdiers back, and quite effectively, I would imagine. Our Lord, the Abyssal Revenant, Ascended, is chasing the enemy around. The enemy tried to run, but the Abyssal Revenant uses the Kraken's Pull to try to keep him there, and continues fighting in the water as well. Glorious. Alright, there we go. That pulled in a bunch of units and damaged them as well, and hopefully it will allow us to damage the Witch Hunter Inquisitor General further, as he can hardly escape. Alright, and of course the Abyssal Revenant is getting hit by enemy range fire, but I don't think he cares all that much. It looks like the Knights Griffin are out and the Halberdiers are still being held back by Revenant Haunters. We also have our infantry finally getting ready to move in. Another unit of Knights is just about done here, and we continue getting support from the Fourth Sister in the background. Still no need to send the rest of our army in. Let's watch those Elder Reavers have a little fun against some enemy greatswords. And this should be very much in our favor. Damn, the Abyssal Revenant is huge. Look at him towering over on that hill crest there. Very nice. More Elder Reavers moving in, and I assume all the units in these armies are aquatic as well, as in the Profundum units, so we probably have a pretty darn major advantage in general in this situation and on this map. Oh, that looked very painful for that poor huntsman. Get another charge in with our Sea Serpent Reavers. Though by the looks of it, the battle will soon be ours. Going to get a rear charge into this unit of Flagellants and Greatswords. Though by the looks of it, the Greatswords are already running/routing from the Empty Dead and from the Elder Reavers. And now with the Sea Serpents behind them, this has just gotten much, much worse. And they thought it couldn't get any worse as soon as they saw the Abyssal Revenant running towards them. Well, running back into the fray for him, but it looks like the rest of the army has shattered, and it is now only time to destroy the Flagellants here, as they will fight to the death. Drown them and raise them as bloated corpses to explode their allies, perhaps. Seems like the thing to do, and the Abyssal Revenant moves back in as well, getting 1 or 2 more hits before the battle ends. Let's see how many Flagellants we have on the field. 11. Huh. Few more than I would have thought, but I imagine that our units are probably getting in each other's way a little bit as we try to bring them down. Anyway, with that and with thunderous lightning? I don't know, the battle ends. I was trying to combine with thunderous applause and the fact that there was a lightning storm around, but lovely. A lovely battle. We get to see everybody we wanted. Alright, there we go. Very nice indeed. I wanted to give our, let's say, less oft used units, or units that we haven't had a chance to use as much, a chance to shine in that particular battle, and I think that certainly worked out. The Abyssal Revenant, the Depth Guard Sea Serpent Reavers did well as well, quite well indeed. And let's see what we got here. Ooh, 112 kills on the Beach Berserkers in particular, as the Elder Reavers certainly got to play, and I always love watching the ship and just firing down upon the enemy from overhead. Fantastic. We are going to, well, I guess duel the captives. Doesn't really matter what we do here. And I believe, well, let's see. Oh, the army was destroyed. Lovely. Lovely indeed. Scroll of Power. Technically, this also gives us another empty dead if we want a second ship in here. Though I guess the question there... I also forget, do we heal in the water or no? Because last time we got one of these, it kind of reduced its HP massively, and I don't want it to randomly die. We could get rid of one of the Depth Guard Promethean Reavers just to have one join. We have seen them fighting a lot, though I am kind of attached. And now, you know what? The one ship is fine. It's unique this way. It's fine. Plus, it's kind of hard to watch the ship itself while watching everything else. All right, Abyssal. I guess you're going to Lothern. You're gonna go in full speed stance. I don't know if that'll come back to bite us if there are a bunch of armies here. I don't see anybody at Lothern. Perhaps what we can do is besiege it and wait for an army to hit us. Hopefully there are some on Ulthuan. Let's see. I don't see any Slaaneshi corruption here, nor any Chaos corruption, which means it's unlikely that they've been destroying Ulthuan, which is probably a good thing. Anyway, I do believe it's time for another time skip, and hopefully another big fight, or another big duel, or another big something. Away we go. Alright, and we're back, but not one of the main armies is going to fight. I wouldn't send you guys off without a few extra battles, I think, just for fun, and Loren Forest should present us a very decent fight here. We got a full stack, plus the garrison, plus this 3/4 stack as well, and just an insane amount of enemy range units. Plus, we haven't yet seen the Doom Wolf Knights fight, so that's what we're gonna do. Loren, you have unfortunately got yourself into a situation just by existing near to this army where they can try out those Doom Wolves. I was very impressed with their performance when they fought our own forces. Let's see how they perform here. This should be one of the more difficult fights due to the, well, superiority of the piles of Deepwood Scouts compared to our very vulnerable and very, very slow Graveguard. Although we do have a decent amount of named ones here. Butchers of Middenheim, Calcium Comrades, and Buried Gatekeepers as well. Well, let's see how they all do.
The weak shall perish.
Alright, here we go, the Doom Knights. It's time to take their opportunity, and once again, though we have seen them before, and they're still looking pretty darn fantastic, let's look at that arrow just bounce off the hide of the wolf there, and yeah, excited to see how they perform, especially with their hero in the lead, and a few units of those Fleshwalker mongrels backing them up as well. A pretty strong elite force here, but they are going to be needed because so many range units stand against us, and we've got even more coming in as reinforcements. Now, in terms of deployment, we got 3 units hidden of Black Knights over all the way on the rightmost flank, and then we got 3 more over here, essentially to attack here and here with the Black Knights and hopefully annoy those Deepwood Scouts and Glade Guard and whatnot. Though how that'll work out remains to be seen. We do have that devastating flanker on the Black Knights now, so they should be still decently effective despite their low tier and general effectiveness. Alright, and the battle starts off with our Lord moving in, but we've got an ability we've never used before, the Summon the Hounds ability, or Summon the Doom Wolves ability. I wanted to check out their stat. Okay, just game, please. 50. Oh, they've got dampen on them. Nice. 55 melee attack and 34 melee defense. So their melee defense is a little bit low, but they are here, and they should still be effective enough to both annoy the enemy range units and keep them in place where they cannot fire on our Graveguard and other such units as they approach. Speaking of the Graveguard, they very much are on the approach, moving together, though they have taken a little bit of damage from enemy range fire already. That's alright. They're just going to wait until the barrier goes down, and down it goes, allowing the Doom Wolf Knights and the Fleshwalker Mongrels to stream into the city or settlement, if you can call a Wood Elf Great Tree such, and start mowing down those elves. There we go. Oh, they do not have the mass to stop this. Is this one of the bugged units that have a crazy amount of mass? No, 2,000 mass, they're fine. They've got normal mass, that's just them, well, relatively normal mass. That's just them breaking through the enemy, and that really helped us out because it broke through the enemy around the choke point, allowing our Graveguard all to stream into the city with a relatively minimal fire. Fleshwalker Mongrels will remain among them, and frankly so will our Doom Knights as well. Doom Wolf Knights. It's still difficult because Doom Knights exist. While our Lord chases the enemy Lord, in fact, quite effectively, I might add, down, and kills him, though there are other heroes to chase. The Doom Wolf Knights, now having gone through the enemy, charge right back through, sending at least a few of the enemy units into the piles of a Graveguard. And it looks like some of them will get back up, but get back up surrounded by whites, which is not what they want. We continue moving into the enemy settlement, and our Black Knights have moved into battle as well, though they are starting to take damage. Eternal Guard with 71 melee defense on them. That's quite a lot. Well, 61 now. But damn. Oh, our own units have 71 melee defense, okay. But the enemy has plenty of melee defense as well, and they have anti-large, so their melee attack is going to be quite a bit more as well. And we can clearly see them bringing a bunch of the Black Knights down. That said, we have 6 of these units all running around causing havoc in the enemy back lines and preventing a decent amount of enemy units from firing. They're doing a little bit better on this side as well, though the Doom Wolves are now gone. The Black Knights have taken their place and are still very much an annoyance. We've broken through this side of the map, another barricade has gone down, and we continue moving towards the enemy's central point, though the enemy reinforcements have arrived, and there are more range units and melee units, I guess, to contend with. Fair amount. We're going to now peel away the Fleshwalker Mongrels to aid the Black Knights, as they're clearly having a little bit of a tough time, several of them dropping down to about half HP, while the Doom Wolf Knights head on in and start fighting some War Dancers here. Their elites versus our elites, though I imagine that they're not going to have a great day here, especially as the Wolf Knights Lord / hero leads them in the center of the pack. Tiberius Kale, there we go, that's the name. Couldn't quite remember. To be fair, there's a lot of legendary heroes in this thing. Alright, and it looks like the enemy has moved in a bunch of units to try to bail those War Dancers out. More Eternal Guard coming in, and Glade Riders as well, though they're probably wishing they were Stag Knights or Wild Riders instead, as the Glade Riders are just way too inferior to contend with the Doom Wolf Knights. Alright, well, that fight is going to go for a while, taking maybe 5 to 10% damage on these guys, but nothing all that concerning, and damn, their attacks are pretty darn high. 106 melee attack. I assume because they have Soul Scent? What's making them hit so hard? They've got Aura from the Eternal Disciple nearby. Okay, a bunch of things stacking, giving them massive amounts of melee attack. And we can remember them giving the Disciples of the Path Knights a run for their money, so hardly surprising. Now it's time for the Fleshwalker Mongrels to help out against those Glade Guard and... or not Glade Guard, Eternal Guard and War Dancers with Azray Spears. Well, that's going to be potentially iffy, especially as Glade Guard move in to help out as well. We'll have to be careful and maybe even send a few Black Knights to help them out. Starting to take a little bit of damage here. Though unlike the Doom Knights, who have the hunger, these guys have regeneration. Alright, and keep on fighting, though they have certainly started to take damage here, dropping down to nearly half HP, and we're going to need to give them some heals and send some reinforcements in the form of Black Knights, who are moving in from every single side and will surround and destroy those enemies. Here, there we go. Can't let those mongrels fall. We could have actually upgraded another one of the mongrels into more Doom Wolf Knights, which would have probably preventing them from being this fragile, as the Doom Wolf Knights have, like, nearly twice as much armor, but nonetheless it worked out. Anyway, I do believe another enemy lord is being chased down and is, by the looks of it, one more hit away from dead and will drop under that Storm of the Night. Perfect. Could have called this entire battle Storm of the Night, or every battle from an attack by the vampires, but anyway, there we go. With that, the enemy army will shatter. The Doom Wolf Knights did fantastic, and I'm excited to see how many kills and how much damage they got. Alright, there we go, a pretty great battle if I do say so myself, with the Doom Wolves or Doom Wolf Knights absolutely shining and ripping those enemies apart. Though we also got to see a few interesting things, like the Eternal Guard kind of wrecking Fleshwalker Mongrels, so despite the relatively strong nature of the special units and the units in general added by this mod, it doesn't mean that you can't still get ripped apart by basic enemy units if you allow their, for example, anti-large to work against you, as the Fleshwalker Mongrels are anti-large, but are large units themselves, whereas the Eternal Guard with their spears are anti-large, and did very, very well against them. Impressive. Graveguard mostly soaked up hurt, but it looks like at 108 the Buried Gatekeepers named unit led them in kills, and a few of the Black Knights did well as well, though they spent a lot more time chasing around missile troops, though, to be fair. Considering how many missile troops were in these armies in general, so did everybody else. Anyway, very, very nice. I don't think we care about the Bloodkeep here, especially considering it is only tier 3, so it wasn't even worth our time.
I bring darkness.
Alright, you're gonna back away. You are gonna be able to chase this guy down and destroy Loren for good. I hate Ellendelling anyway, so they deserve it. Alright, and I don't know, dual captives, it doesn't matter. It really, really doesn't matter. Alright, and there we are, Edmund. You are done for the campaign, though a great time for those Doom Wolves to shine at least once, so I'm happy we get to see those. On to the next one. Alright, here we are, another little fight, and we'll get to see, well, not quite the full all-cavalry army in action, but a decent portion of it, since we're unlikely to see any other version of it. We've got a decent mix of cav, and frankly, by having a few less of the elite cav units, it'll make the battle that much more fun. Plus, this is the only time Rabe von Stel's gonna get a chance to fight outside of any additional battle videos that I put out, and ooh, we've got a lot of sort of cav, war beasts and cav and war machines mix, and the enemy army as well, plus Azhag himself, so I think that'll be a nice final fight for Heinrich and der Herzlos as well. Go.
For the Bloodkeep!
Alrighty, here we go. The cavalry army. It's certainly not in its most ideal form, as in it could have more units, but it's pretty darn good. And this is about as even as we'll ever have it between us and the orcs here, so we should darn well have some fun with it. We've also got all of our lords well, all of our lords acting as cavalry, not flying cavalry. We've switched all their mounts so that they work like this, and hopefully that'll work out. Plus, we've got Rabe von Stahl here, who just looks fantastic. I think this is my favorite design of this mod's legendary heroes. It's simple and yet very clean and nice. I love the purple glow, love the banner, though I always praise the banners, and this guy just has the best talking. Absolutely fantastic. So now we got some heads here as well. Very nice. Very, very nice. We'll see how you fight shortly as well, my friend, as well as his Oathbound Revenants, who we've got working together, moving together with him. Very, very nice. And just getting some good shots here, since we won't be seeing these guys again. Although it's nice to have seen them. And over on this side, we have a similar sort of formation, echoing our formation. Their Blood Dragon champion leads the Blood Dragon Veteran Knights, and the Blood Dragon champion's no slouches either, also looking fantastic. I mean, if these guys were legendary heroes that looked like this, I would love them just as much as Arabe there. Nice, clean look. Blood Dragons, glorious. Alright, well, everybody get ready to go on in. We'll see who hits the enemy first, and it looks like it'll be the Blood Dragons into the fray. And the mod creator is deciding to add the banners is just perfection. With lots of units having them. Once again, I really missed units having banners in this Total War. Alright, and it looks like Azhag has arrived, and we're going to send our lord to chase him down. Over on the leftmost flank, we have the Oathbound Revenants surrounded by piles of enemy squigs, but I imagine that they'll be able to rip them apart. Judging by their animations, the Oathbound Revenants are using Chaos Knight animations. And I mean, they do look kind of like them, so that does make sense as well. And this lighting works for me really nicely as well with these guys. Alright, and it looks like those fools who decided to try to attack them are having a pretty bad day. The squigs are rampaging, but the units are relatively unharmed. A bit of damage on one, but no unit losses so far. We've begun the duel with Azhag, and Heinrich has him down to half HP, while the central portion of the enemy army has by and large collapsed. Our Black Knights are running around in the background, making use of that devastating flanker of theirs, while our Bloodkin Thrall Adept Knights, or Bloodkin Adept Knights, are ripping apart any enemies that still stand against our forces. Azhag is still fighting, though I wager not for much longer, casting a little something at us. And down to about a quarter of his HP now. We do have reinforcements arriving as well, so we do need to knock out this army and move to destroy the reinforcements. Azhag will attempt to book it on out of there, and we're going to chase him down and bring him down with our glaive. Okay, that's not going to be quite on cue, but, well, it's on cue enough for our purposes. Down goes Azhag, and with Azhag's fall, the rest of his army, by the looks of it, will begin to shatter. There's still a giant river troll hag here, but the rest of this, by the looks of it, is going to be chasing, which ain't going to be crazy interesting. Maybe watch a few of those squig hoppers go down to our Black Knights. And they're booking it on out of there as well. And, ooh, Arabe, chase down and kill the giant river troll hag, if you would. Oh, he puts down the lance, draws his sword. Oh, that's fantastic. Puts down the lance and draws his sword to fight. That makes so much sense. That just makes the frightening amount of sense. I love it. I love everything about it. I mean, slow motion, was that normal motion? Oh, okay, I guess the giant river troll hag's attack animation is quite slow. I couldn't tell whether that was fast motion or slow motion, or normal motion, or slow motion. Anyway, by the looks of it, the River Troll Hag is broken and below half HP, so Rabe will, by and large, bring her down. Looks like an enemy lord has been brought down, a second enemy lord after Azhag been brought down by our Blood Dragon champion, together with his Blood Dragon veteran knights, who are going to head on in to the fray and continue the fight. Alrighty, we got Gobos aplenty, though of course the Gobos stand no chance here, and the Oathbound Revenants are about to join the fray as well. And Spiky Rolla's heading in to try to see us, well, I guess slightly damaged. I've certainly seen Spiky Rolla's damage cavalry before, though it is a dangerous matchup for the Spiky Rollas. They're still a very, very overpowered unit. Although I guess they don't get the chance to show it in this particular campaign. I certainly found them very overpowered in my Grimgor campaign. And by the looks of the enemy army is done. There we go. Just like that, we will ride the rest of them down and destroy them, mostly so that this army doesn't get attacked. But I guess we can do that off screen. Fantastic job to everybody here. Alright, a lovely little fight indeed. I'm a little bit sad we didn't get Rabe von Stahl on field earlier, because he's such a freaking cool unit, and I just love the way he speaks every time you hear him. It's awesome. Fantastic voice work and direction in this mod once again. And you know what, this army composition actually ending off just kind of makes sense. The two Oathbound Revenant units leading 4 Black Knights, sort of similarly, and the Blood Dragon units leading 2 Blood Dragon units leading 4 Bloodkin Thralls. That's fine. This is the army. It doesn't need anything else. Certainly it proved as much in this particular battle. Obviously the Blood Dragon Knights considerably outdamaged the Oathbound Revenants, but they're a weaker unit as compared to the elite Vampire Blood Knight units. So, it does make sense, as they appear to be whites. Anyway, we are good here, so I guess we can duel captives. It doesn't really matter what we do. Sorry once again to Azhag, who just keeps on getting screwed, and I believe we are good. I was about to say maybe we fight Astrogoth, but frankly his army is kind of garbage, so probably not worth our time. Destroy this. I don't know why, it doesn't really matter. He's going to run anyway, so... just because we can. And I guess, I don't know, move back here.
Yes, I go.
You can sit out the rest of the campaign here as we are done, unless another big old stack appears nearby, though I somehow doubt it. We might try to fight Kolek, though frankly his army is kind of pathetic, and he's only level 15. Ow! He does have Harald Hammerstorm there, though, which is neat. But anyway, it looks like it's time for another time skip. Let's hope for another big fight. Alright, well, Kugath is unfortunately out of range for now. Helman Ghorst is right there, and while his army wouldn't really stand any kind of chance against Aberrashes, I nonetheless think we're going to fight this. And the way that we're going to do this is thus. First of all, go to Scrap Towers. Yes, declare war. Don't call your useless allies to help. They're frankly pretty much dead anyway. The northern provinces have died in the meantime. The western provinces ain't in too great a shape either. Anyway, we've seen every single unit in this army fight. Let's see if Abarash by himself can clear all of this chaff out and kill off all the lords all at the same time, hopefully we can keep them all from going after the rest of our army. Go. Alright, there we go, an easy a little fight, but I just wanted to battle just to sort of show off how scary Abarash could be if we were actually using him as a hybrid unit, as a caster lord, as well as a fighter. Once again, throughout most of the campaign, we haven't really been using his damaging spells, because I don't think it is the way with Abarash, but just for fun. And besides, these were all skeletons and zombies, maybe not all, but mostly skeletons and zombies, and they deserved to just be shunted aside as they weren't worthy of Abarash's blade. Anyway, we're going to sack to remain to keep our movement and see how far we can reach from here. We got another 10% movement. Can we reach Kugath? Alright, a great and worthy act, and no, we still can't reach Kugath, but we can start to walk towards him. I think I want Kugath, a duel between Abarash and Kugath to be the final fight for Abarash before the quest. I would also like to see, who did we just kill? Helman Ghorst. He gives us the immunity to contact effects for the entire army, which is insanely strong as well. Pretty happy with that. Let's look for attrition if we chase Kugath, but I think we still should.
Honor comes before all.
Regardless of the attrition. And we're not going... Then again, maybe Kugath will fall for this and try to go for the scrap towers. Let's try that. At least this way he might not try to run away from Abarash, depending. Either way, I think it's time for another time jump. Away we go. Alrighty, we'll do one more of these little fights. The damn campaign or the damn mod is just too fun. I could keep on going and going and going, but it all has to end sometime. But, well, not yet. And Kolek has not run far enough. Let's hope that we can force him into a fight. Oh, we actually can't reach him, but perhaps we can reach this little Orky lord. If he doesn't run, then we'll be able to fight. But if he doesn't, we've got other places where we can, and we can keep on chasing Kolek. He won't run. Fantastic. That's exactly what we wanted. Alright, we got banners, so we're gonna pop the banners that rip our armor away onto the 2 units of Revenant Hunters. We'll pop the Razor Standard on... Let's see, on the Jade Ronin, I mostly want the Jade Ronin to fight here, or possibly on the... let's go the Jade Ronin. Jade Ronin, let's go banner of... Lamia. Gives spell resistance and weapon strength to the individually unit. Let's pop it on you and pop the other banner on you. There we go. We'll allow these little elites to fight. It is starting to look like we won't be able to fight a great fight for the Abyssal Revenant, but I have wanted to see the Jade Daimyo and the Jade Ronin in action at least one more, so we will right here.
Oblivion calls.
Alrighty, I am so glad we were able to find this particular fight. I was worried that the Jade Daimyo and the Jade Ronin would not be able to get the proper send-off that so many of the other units are getting, but here we go. It looks like we will be able to. Indeed, and we're going to let them shine together with our other elites, the Empty Dead and the 2 units of Elder Reavers. They're going to go in with the heroes essentially by themselves, the heroes in the Lord, and the rest of the army will just sit the rest out. We'll see how Harry the Hammer and all those monstrous units in Kolek's army, plus the Demonettes, handle themselves, though to be fair, the Demonettes against our magical damage dealing vampires probably not going to have the greatest of days. I would wager anyway. Alright, snaky form is up, and ooh, looks like we'll get hit with one of Kolek's bombardments on the Depth Guard Elder Reavers, but that's fine. The snake, our lord, is going to head towards Kolek and try to get a duel with him. I probably shouldn't try to fight him and Harry the Hammer at the same time while the rest of our army gets ready to take the enemy on. Here come the Trolls and the Hounds of Pestilence wading into the Jade Ronin and the Elder Reavers, and the Demonettes will follow as well. And there we go, the battle is engaged, lots of effects coming in though, as we are trying to heal up the unit that got hit with that Uranon's Thunderbolt. But I do imagine, since we are very limited in the number of units we've actually brought to this fight, it is going to take them all a while to kill all of these enemies, I mean. We could also probably speed the matter up a little bit by transforming our heroes all into their snake/dragon forms, but I think we'll let them fight on the ground like this for a little bit of a while before we do. Kolek is down to about 40% of his HP in the background, still dueling Helman Ghorst, who we've rewarded, ooh, nice hit, who we've rewarded by giving him command of this army after that glorious defense against the Skaven, and it's only appropriate that we get to send him off in this final battle as well. Gotta love those sea serpent forms too. Just great. And looking very cinematic with all of this, stuff in the background. This is a Chaos Dwarf map. After all, and their maps do have a tendency to look great. Anyway, we remain, I guess, surrounded here. Looks like another Uranon's Thunderbolt or Bombardment will come down, but it's time to activate a few of our own abilities. This is the Jade Soul. I think this is the first time that we get to use this, which seems to be a combination of a ghostly form of a Morngul Haunter plus... I couldn't tell what spell that was, but, well, something. Lure of Death spell. And there we go, it's finally time to transform as the Jade Daimyo takes Spectral Dragon form, or whatever that one is called. And gets ready to wade into the fight. And start doing quite a bit more splash damage, I would wager. Who's the real Jade Dragon, Yuenbo? That's what I'd like to know. Also in the background, it looks like Kolek's down to a mere 10 to 15% HP. A couple more hits, I'm sure, will bring him down. Also in the background, we have the transformations ongoing as the other two lords becomes the Dread Serpents as well. Kolek will fall, and the snakes will begin all working together. Seeing Kolek fall, it looks like a lot of his army are going to book it out of there. This is not a place they want to be. Ooh, nice hit to that giant. Gotta love these sync animations and the units staggering each other. And damn, that was a very sudden turnaround just as Kolek fell. And I'm sure the damage was pretty severe as well. Now this one giant will attempt to face off against 3 Dread Revenants or Sea Serpents or whatever these guys are called. Dread Sea Revenant, oh god, close enough. as well as the Spectral Dragon. Or Jade Dragon, whatever. Corrupted Spirit, close enough. Spectral Dragon works for what it is. Alright, a couple more hits, and damn, this giant is an absolute hero, though, completely surrounded by our elite infantry and by the dragons. Looks like some trolls routed and got sent back in. But that's pretty normal for troll units as well, as they do have a tendency to rout due to their low leadership. Anyway, looks like the giant has a couple more hits on him, but is booking it on out of there. Those units that sought combat once again have returned, and I don't think we need the snake forms anymore, so we can just transform back to normal. Most is it that they don't block anything, or at least that was the plan, but it looks like the rest of the enemy army has shattered, and only Harry the Hammer remains, and that I'm willing to bet not for much longer. Did he get knocked down? Yes, he did. But he gets back up again. Oh, actually, out of curiosity. Oh, damn, I wanted to see. Let me just see here. He managed to get 1 kill. Good job, Harry. He achieved something here. Probably killed off one of the infantry, though I'm sure we'll raise them back up. Same cannot be said for Harry, as he will be left on the field here. All the dragons return, or the serpents return to their infantry form, and just like that, Harry will go down, and the battle will be ours. Lovely. Lovely indeed. We had, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 units, wait, 11, 12 units sit out. These guys were just here to mostly chase, but they did nothing as well, so, yeah, very nice. Ah, yeah, that was just great. I'm absolutely loving these little final battles, just because we get the chance to get our special units, and give them all a chance to shine, and still win without having to use like 80% of our armies, at least a decent amount of the time. The Jade Ronin did fantastic, 18k damage and 136 kills, beating everybody else except for the Jade Daimyo himself at 28k damage, outdoing everybody here, which is considerable, as the Jade Daimyo was, what, level 6 or something? He was really low. He was just level 2 a couple turns ago, and the Depth Guard champions both started at level 30, and so did Helman Ghorst, I believe, or 29, so, yeah, damn. Can only imagine how powerful this hero would have grown, and very, very nice. Kolek is down, as well as most of his army. It's not like we were under threat by them here, but nonetheless.
What?
Very nice indeed. Defeated Kolek, bonus versus large, not that we really need it. And I guess you can go into encamp stance, because we're just about done. This may in fact be, it's certainly one of the last turns. I don't know if it is the very last turn, but let's find out. I think it's Anarch time. Alright, here we are, and here we hopefully go. Anarch's final battle at Nashazar. I'm gonna hope that we can get this to be a field battle. No guarantee, of course, but it would be nice, as the sieges do tend to desync. And it looks like the enemy is indeed willing. They've got the settlement garrison, lots of clan rats and storm vermin, then the very elite stack they've got here. 3 poison wind mortars, a bunch of mutant units, elite storm vermin, rattling guns. Yeah, 3 stacks for Anarch, who is our weakest of the legendary Lord armies, or at least was. I'm not 100% sure that is the case anymore, but, well, I suppose we're about to find out. Away we go, Anarch, one more time, full army. Once again, get to see those Inner Circle Knights fight as well. Alright, here we go. No siege for Anarch means we get to fight this on a field battle without those pesky desyncs. Though sadly, Anarch immediately takes a howling warp gale to the face, and both he and his heroes are stuck. And darn those Skaven. Enemy moves into our main line with those units of Rat Ogres, but we counter them pretty much immediately with our Drakenhof Sky Reavers, which rip the Drakenhof Templar Sky Reavers, which absolutely rip them apart. Our cavalry were all deployed behind the enemy army and are getting ready to head into the fray as well. Mostly we'll need them to either chase enemies down, but also to make sure that the range units can achieve nothing. All those soul siphoning effects coming in, while the cavalry hits the enemy in the back and rides through the enemy lines. Granted, this is only the first enemy army, and it is most definitely the weak one. I see a warp bomb came down, but it looks like our cav just ran through it while the warp bomb was down, and the enemy didn't really get anything out of it. All right, very nice. I feel like maybe the units, the Templar units, should have a different version of soul siphoning, or at least one that doesn't have that effect, because it's a little much when the entire army is doing it. Alright, sorry, we're gonna get some dropped frames here because, well, we're fighting the Skaven and my PC can't really handle this many effects and this many units. So this effect is also probably, like the soul siphoning, is probably not helping matters. So, yeah, don't be surprised about the frame dropping. Anyway, we've got a lot of enemy units to chase down. Most of them are off the field, though it looks like we'll get a few summons here as well. But I don't imagine the summons will be able to stick around for too long either. There are souls leaving their bodies even as they arrive onto the field. Alright, those clan rats are out, but more clan rats, and more importantly, much more in the way of storm vermin have arrived. There we go, now this is the fight. We got Hell Pit Abominations, we've got enemy artillery crews, plenty mutant rat ogres, some assassin units. Lots of stuff to be getting on with, basically. We're gonna send our heroes to go after the Grey Seer and the Plague Priest, once again getting hit by that darn Howling Warp Gale. But the rest of our army can at least fight. And there we go, once again, gotta see these Inner Circle Knights fight. They're gonna try to go after the enemy mutant rat ogre as best they can, though they do seem to have a habit of getting distracted. And hopefully... Oh, damn, they sent him flying. And hopefully they can actually keep him in place. And fight. There we go. Alright, that was a little bit difficult to see what the heck is going on with that soul siphoning everywhere. There we go, an absolutely massive battle, and more or less a brawl. Nothing crazy tactics-wise in this particular battle, trying to reform our infantry line such that they can get into it with the various Skaven infantry, though it's going to take them a while as they were chasing the other enemy army down. You gotta keep in mind that the other enemy army is also outside the settlements, so they will survive. Anyway, a lot of this battle will rely on making good use of our cavalry, especially with the mass on them, and just riding through the ranks of the Skaven and obliterating them as we go. Alright, and the enemy does have some poison winds in the background. We definitely have to target them, so we will ride through as many Skaven infantry as we can and hit these guys instead with 2 of our units. Alright, very nice indeed. Over in the background we see a Penumbral Pendulum come down, mostly to try to separate a few units from our Drakenov Templar champions, and otherwise it looks like our cavalry has pinned a ton of enemy infantry in place, while our own infantry has by and large finally started making their way back into the fray. Yeah, this is definitely one of the effects that needs to be toned down, just so that we can see the amazing models more of our actual units. As I do love watching them fight. I'm sure Anarch does as well. He's probably having a pretty grand time here, though alas, it probably won't last much longer. Bounce power's at about 85% in our favor. Now the cavalry continues to cause absolute havoc in the background of the enemy army, destroying the rear ranks, all the enemy missiles, artillery, and artillery crews and whatnot, weapons crews. And there we go. It looks like with that, the entire enemy host will book it on out of there. All 3 stacks, good and done for, scurrying back to Nashazar, but they will find no succor there, as, well, will bring it down on their heads and raise a blood keep in its place. Ooh, a very nice fight, though my PC really didn't like that one. I kept dropping frames and freezing. The fans and the coils were making noises. The coils were angry that day, my friends. And yeah, I think I'm actually going to restart now, or save it and restart, because I'm a little bit paranoid that the game will crash, because it seemed to be on the verge of crashing every second there. And yeah, my PC needs a bit of an update. It's certainly getting on in years nowadays, especially for these kinds of fights. Yeah, anyway, a very fun fight and a glorious last fight for Anarch here. The Fangs of Ashenesh, I believe, let's see, were they the only named? Oh, the Drake and Hoofs, yes, I named you myself. And oh damn, nearly 600 kills on a couple of these units. Alright, the Knights of the Thirst and the Crusaders were in here as well. Very nice to everybody, but damn, particularly great job to all of our Cav units, 715 on you. The model count killing was actually lower on the super elite circle units, but they had more elite targets to chase down as well, so it does make sense. Anyway, I'm attempting the Dark Gods here in terms of the game potentially crashing, so let's just quickly make sure that Anarch takes this for himself. I assume that you'll be able to auto-resolve this now. Yes.
But the head of the Lord.
And we'll make this a Ordo Templarius Bloodkeep. There we go. Not that we needed the place, of course, but just for fun. Now, we don't have any special buildings here, and it looks like we don't have any special buildings in the Black Pyramid anyway, so we didn't even bother with it, as it was, well, pointless. And then, interestingly enough, there's nothing at the Galleon's Graveyard. In fact, we can't even really use it. I feel like we should be able to build a proper Bloodkeep here, or we should have a special building here for ourselves. But alas, it also can't be defended, and it doesn't even give us our own units as defenses, interestingly enough, but well, obviously not the biggest of deals. In fact, it's one of the smallest of deals. Anyway, here comes another cut. We're nearly done now. Alright, here we go, nearly done now, but we still have to fight Kugath, we still have to get those Black Grail Knights, or the quest completed as the final battle, but for now, I want Abarash taken on the Plague Father. Now, frankly, the rest of his army is nothing to write home about. I think we could just do this manually, as it isn't really a concern, so we'll do so. Mostly I'm after the duel here, but otherwise the battle is inconsequential, and we can once again witness Abarash in action for a little while. It's not like it would change over much. I mean, it's piles of Nurglings and Plague Bearers. Most of that would have no chance. Maybe Uncle for Uncle can do some stuff. Let's see if we can hide our army well enough for the enemy army to focus Abarash, or try to focus Abarash down a little bit more than Helman Ghorst perhaps it did. All of y'all, let's see, can we hide you in here? Yes, we can. Fantastic. Fantastic. Alright, let's do this like so. Okay. And there we go. Hide more units anywhere and everywhere we can. Oh, there we go. Oh, damn, screwed that up. Alright, you in here, you all in here, good. And you're not able to hide, are you? Actually, you are. They were hidden for a second. Huh, weird. I could have sworn I saw the hidden icon on the elites, but that might have been a fluke. Yeah, it was probably a fluke. You guys shouldn't be able to hide. You're big and you're flying. Alright, the rest of you. I don't know which of you can hide, but let's find out. Pop you all in here. Oh. This may also be a fluke. You probably can't actually hide. And then you two. I don't know whether you can or you can't, but, well, you don't look like you can. So you can go over there with the rest of the flyers, and we'll hope the rest of them leave us alone. Anyway, that looks good to me, or at least as good as it's gonna get, or at least I'm too lazy to make it anything else, so away we go. Abarash. Away, Power of Darkness on ya. Let's also get a little bit of Forbidden Rod up and running, and we'll watch Abarash in action. Heart piercing. Alright, and it's Kugath himself here. Let's see. And that's disgusting. I'm sure he's going to request aid here as well, but we can probably clear it out with a few casts. Let's get Power of Darkness on us again. And let's drop a spell on ourselves. It's actually going to pierce our own barrier, but, well, whatever. As long as everybody's out of the way and we can continue knocking Kugath around. There we go. And no, that didn't actually destroy our barriers. Well, and Kugath down to about half HP. Rest of his army still not surrounding Abarash. You had your time, you had your chance, but alas, you didn't take it. Kugath trying to run away sends a Beast of Nurgle to block Abarash, but I don't think that's a great idea. Though that said, Abarash, you should probably try to get a few kills going if you can, just because they'll make you hit a little bit harder. And I'm probably better off using other spells to do that. But anyway, knock out this Beast of Nurgle and then turn towards Kugath. Looks like we got some Plague Drones moving in. Trying to save that Beast of Nurgle, perhaps?
Test their skill for the path.
Alright, looks like one more hit on you, big boy. Well, medium boy. I mean, Kugath is here after all, and Uncle for Uncle. Hey, Kugath, come back here. All right, we're gonna have to follow him. Ignore those plague drones. Also, Kugath does have that regen of his, so we may as well go after him. Do we have any other activations available? No, not yet. Ooh, you know what? Let's stop Uncle for Uncle in his tracks. I don't care if he kills the Knights of the First Keep or whatever, Phantoms of the First Keep. But there may be value in them keeping him in his place while Abarash continues fighting Kugath. I mean, to be fair, he's mostly just whacking away at him, so animation-wise isn't anything crazy. But I'll never grow tired of watching Abarash fight. Sorry, that's just me. How's Kugath doing? Oh, a couple more hits by the looks of it. If the enemy can get out of the way for a second. Come on, damn you, Plague Drones. Move away. Oh, now he's calling for raid, eh? Alright, looks like yet another hit needed. And he keeps running. Well, insofar as you can call this running, and down he goes. Alright, and how's that barrier looking? Hey, they did manage to pierce our barrier, at least. How's Uncle for Uncle looking? He's still fighting. We'll send Abarash to deal with him. Looks like some enemies are sort of riding around our main stack, but by the looks of it, are also too afraid to actually fight. You guys get the heck out? Abarash, take out the Uncle. He's busy with something. Looks like he did actually take a little bit of damage while fighting the Knights of the First Keep, which is a little bit surprising, as I wasn't expecting them to do that much. I don't think I've actually used Immortal Will a single time throughout the entire campaign, because Abarash doesn't really need the additional healing, but certainly something we had access to. Alright, we'll knock out Uncle for Uncle and then we'll end the battle, because obviously the rest of this is more or less a waste of time. Alright, and stopped in the act. Well, even the Warrior Ascendant has to get dirty sometimes. Alright, let's finish the battle up real quick. I don't think the rest of this is going to be particularly interesting, so we can just speed our way through it. This will probably mean a few of our units might take damage somewhere, because I'm not going to pay attention to them actually fighting. But probably also not so much that we care. Abarash, you know what? Use a heal on yourself and that'll heal everybody else. Alright, there we go. I'll let them do their thing, and where are you? Oh, you chased after somebody. Okay, fair enough. Abarash, did you kill that War Shrine? You're about to. Let's see that death animation while we're at it. Why not? Stopped in its tracks, and then one more hit it. Okay, fine. 2 more hits into it. Okay, 3 more hits into it. That giver of Nurgle's glory. Healing it up, and there we go. I do believe that is the battle. Oh, lovely. The enemy's also in march stance, so they have already been destroyed. Now I think we can do another time skip, and I might try to end the turn a couple more times to see if we can get another battle for the Ordo Profundum or for the Abyssal Revenant. Though, to be frank, at this point, I don't really see the need all that much. We did get that final battle around the Maelstrom, which felt pretty finale to me. And yeah, you know what? It's probably going to take too long. I did try looking at Lothern, and... Okay, where are we here? Oh, literally doesn't matter. Tried looking at Lothern. Did you get a plague? You did get a plague, but you can still heal up, so you hardly care. Great and worthy act. Ooh, right. And Kugath, I believe somebody said in the comments absolute ages ago, it gives us horrible regeneration, because clearly we need more regeneration. Kugath should be up here somewhere. It's Grimgor Drudge. Oh, there he is. Went right by him. I think it does give us weakness to fire damage, though. Alright, yeah, as I was saying, I was looking for another fight for the Abyssal Revenant, but we sieged Lothern for a bunch of turns and they basically all got destroyed. Tried to go around here to Gaian Vale and just inside the donut, and there were no armies anywhere. It looks like they've all spread out all over the place, and I was hoping that we would, that around the Sword of Cain would be where we would go, but Morathi took the Sword of Cain like last turn, which means she probably destroyed an army belonging to these guys, and on top of that, probably got heavily damaged for her trouble. And that said, we'll make another time skip just in case, and we'll find out. One last one, I think. Alright, unfortunately, we've arrived in Morathi's place, and she does have half an army, though she was able to take that Sword of Cain. Arnheim is damaged and doesn't even have a defensive structure, plus her army is just too weak for us to worry about, and I think we're going to have to let that go and consider the final battle at the Galleon's Graveyard to be the final battle for the Abyssal Revenant, which also still does make sense to me from a thematic / objectives perspective. So, the time has come at last to fight the final of final battles, the final quest of the campaign. Let's level you up and then let's get to it. Not that I think we're gonna need levels or anything like that, but who knows? Who knows? Plus, I imagine that if either we're fighting the Black Grail Knights or we'll use them as reinforcements. It's Black Grail Knights, right? Let me just see here. I don't even see them here. Spawn legendary here, Black Grail Knights. Okay. A reason I'm checking is remember how remember my rant about the Blood Dragons being the Bloodline and the Ordo being different things? Yeah, so the Black Grail Knights, there's also Knights of the Black Grail, which are different from Black Grail Knights because, Black Library authors apparently can't think of anything else. But yeah, the Black Grail Knights are the ones that were risen by Nagash screwing around, and the Knights of the Black Grail were like Malabot or Mordred, Warhammer Mordred's bodyguard, and I wonder why we. Well, I guess it makes sense. It makes more sense. Yeah, it makes more sense that we got the Black Grail Knights rather than the Knights of the Black Grail. It's not like we have Malabod, though I suppose he could be added as well. Anyway, where were we? I got distracted by another rant. Hey, what a way to round out a campaign as well. Abarash, it's time for the final quest, the Brothers of the Black Grail. Word of a great undead host is gathering in Bretonnia has reached our agents. What's interesting is they say that the head of its armies, the Black Grail Knights. Perhaps we should investigate these rumors, and investigate them we shall one last time, folks. Let's see what the enemy brought to play. Oh, were there more levels? Oh, they're on our team. Oh, perfect. We can let them do a lot of the fighting. Ooh, looking pretty good over there. Let them do a lot of the fighting since this army is mostly done, and then maybe get Abarash and a couple of units into a few fights as well. Away we go. The Abbey, we must be near. The sounds of battle, though far, are music to mine ears. Even the Grail Knights, oh so pure, can truly resist a call. Now the Black Grail Knights ride once more. Aid these honored dead and bathe in the glory of battle. Ride to battle, my brothers, before the Bretonnians can hunt them, for we offer an errantry greater than any they found in life. Alrighty, here we go. As promised, the last quest saved for the final battle of the campaign. Though by and large, we're going to have our main stack, our main army, sit this one out a little bit. We've seen this army fight more than all the other armies in this campaign, after all, especially since we had all the worthy foe fights, and more importantly, we get to witness our Bretonnian adjacent, I guess, friends, the damned paladins like Silos, requesting knights and knights of the realm alike. Then we have the Black Grail squires, who are looking pretty darn great. Ooh, I always love the corroded armor, the rusty corroded armor on the undead units, just like with Graveguard. These guys looking pretty great. But more importantly, the Black Grail Knights lead them, and just look at these guys. Absolutely fantastic. And ooh, I like how you can see the wights' faces, the skeletons, in the rents in their helmets. Very, very nice. Absolutely glorious unit. And there's 12 of them as well. So it looks like the hero is, the hero is a bunch of units at once. Well, they're going to wade into the fight, and we are going to watch them and do this. Black Grail Knights will take the lead, and then they will be followed by their men-at-arms, the Grail Squires. Black Grail Squires, I should say, who have pretty hefty melee defenses. Now, we do have to make sure that this army survives by virtue of this particular quest. So while our army doesn't necessarily need to do this for them, what we can do is provide magical support, giving heals to our allies to prevent them from being destroyed, which makes sense to me. And I'm just loving watching the units fight. Gotta love the pike formations. And just like the units of Dusk Reavers, that's the one. Can't believe I forgot that name after we faced off against them like 50,000 times. Just like the Dusk Reavers and their pikes. Anyway, the Black Grail Knights and their squires continue fighting together, obliterating enemy battle pilgrims aplenty by the looks of it. And I believe in vanilla the battle pilgrims are not unbreakable like they are in SFO, so they will be broken indeed, whether their bodies or their spirits. Over on the flanks and in the background, the enemy is using their units of damned knights fairly well, and I do believe they have damned paladins leading them. And yeah, that's gotta be a scary sight for those poor Bretonnian peasants. There we go. And once again, I love the fact that they have banners. Alright, getting a few more heals on those units there, but it looks like the first of the enemy armies has by and large been destroyed. All the while, Abarash hovers overhead watching the fight and attempting to determine whether they are worthy to walk the path with him. Anyway, it looks like the second enemy army has arrived on the field. We've got a bunch of foot squires and Knights of the Realm and Knights Errant here as well, so a slightly more powerful army than the last. Certainly nothing that we would be concerned about, but we'll see how we do, or how our allies do. Our own army is waiting here. Oh, that's a pretty cool shot. Our own army is waiting here in case the enemy does move in, or in case our allies get flanked, though by the looks of it, since the first enemy army is destroyed, they should, in theory, depending on how the AI behaves, be able to turn around and move on in to fight. rather than making us do all their work for them. While they do, though, they do have to travel there, of course, so I'm just taking a look at our army. Because I still can't get enough. And once again, the glaives on the Disciples of the Path units, absolutely fantastic choice. Alright, how's that enemy army looking? Oh wow, they are, by the looks of it, going to take quite some time to get to us. Abarash is going to perhaps move over there to try to maybe get a duel going, or at least to spot them. I don't know whether our ally army can actually see them, and if they can't, maybe they're not going to move over there. But anyway, let's speed this up until we get there. Otherwise, it's going to take 8 years. Yeah, oh, the knights are moving together with the foot squares, which are real slow with that 28 movement speed. But Abarash has spotted them for everybody, and it looks like our allies are indeed moving over there to give them a fight. Beautiful. Give them a few seconds, shall we? And it looks like the Damned Questing Knights and Damned Paladin are in the lead, and ooh, it's a standard-ish Bretonnian Knights versus standard-ish Bretonnian Knights here. Now, why would you turn just as they charge in? Oh, AI, what are you doing? Oh, wow, that's how you lose units. Not to worry, we can heal you up, friendos. But still, that's really how you lose units. Alright, there we go. A little bit better over on the side, though still not quite perfect. Not charging directly into one another, so much as allowing the enemy to hit you. But not to worry, I imagine they'll have a very difficult time bringing... There we go. The Black Grail Knights down, and look at all the enemies that go flying to the ground. I imagine that was a heck of a charge, and we'll watch these guys continue fighting. I can't get enough of watching these guys fight either. Also love the shield designs. Not much to say about this. I mean, tactically this battle isn't particularly interesting, as it is essentially AI fighting AI. So they just kind of smash into each other with little thought/consideration. But hey, it's probably not particularly needed here either, especially as we have Abarash's full stack to back our allies up, should they need it. Anyway, it looks like the Ghost Knights are chasing off their mortal, or their living counterparts. An enemy Paladin remains in the fight against enemy Damned Paladin, and one of the Black Grail Knights as well, though not for long. Alrighty, and by the looks of it, the third and final enemy army has arrived, and this one is finally something worth fighting. We got an enemy lord on a hippogriff. We got Royal Hippogriff Knights as his companions / his bodyguard, and 3 units of Grail Guardians as well, which should be a reasonably tough prospect. That said, we've seen our allies fight quite a bit now, and we're going to get a little bit in on the action ourselves. Of course, Abarash will head towards the enemy lord. He waited until the strongest enemy units have arrived, and both he and his children have to fight them. This is what it means to walk the path, and there we go. The Hippogriff Knights will face off against the Knights of the Path Inner Circle. Abarash duels the enemy lord, though probably not for too long, as said enemy lord is down to about half of his HP already. First of the enemy Hippogriff Knights are also down to about half, and are probably not wanting to stick in combat or stay in combat for too long. And in the meantime, the Grail Knights have made their way into the fray as well, and ooh, those damn Knights of the Paladin are... damn Knights of the Realm are starting to go down quickly. Magical damage on the Grail Guardians, of course, and we're going to move in to help our allies out a little bit as well. Not just in the air, but on the ground as well. Our Drakenhof Templar champion, of course, leads the Knights of the Path cavalry, while the infantry, under the lead of our Ordo Profundum champion, are moving in as well. Alright, and the enemy lord chased down and knocked out of the sky by Abarash. I wonder if Hippogriff Blood does anything for him. While the Royal Hippogriff Knights at the same time have by and large been shattered and destroyed. A little bit difficult to see what's going on here because of the trees. Sorry about the wonky camera. We're just trying to get a line of sight on those enemies, though it looks like they are done. Alright, speaking of being done, it looks like the balance of power has shifted to 99-ish% in our favor. One last unit of Grail Guardians holds on against the damn Knights, who were very, very close to being destroyed here, but we healed them up with both the Invocated Oath and the Invocation of Nehek at the same time, which is just a massive amount of healing when used together, and allows even them to face off against Grail Knights, who are basically anathema to them and should destroy them with decent ease. But alas, the Grail Guardians fall, / Grail Knights fall, and with that, this final battle is ours. Ooh, and the Black Grail Knights actually fit in nicely with our army as well. They'd probably fit nicely with the Blood Dragon armies as well in terms of their color scheme. Very nice indeed. Once again, I will continue praising these units. The combination of the Bretonnian Bretonnian armor / the Vampiric armor is really doing it for me. Alright, but alas, it can do for me no longer, as this last quest battle, and we've done every single quest battle, is done. Alrighty, there we go. Wasn't it such a great thing to see the Black Grail Knights and the Black Grail Squires fight? The Black Grail Knights in particular just look incredible. I am absolutely loving them. They are so unnecessarily edgy. It's fan-frickin-tastic. Otherwise, we got what we wanted. Abrash got himself yet another duel against the I suppose, the most threatening of the enemy lords. We get a little bit of work for the rest of our army as well. Not as much because we let the special units shine, but I think pretty much everything has had the chance now to shine throughout the campaign. And there we go. And as for the named units, as we won't be seeing them again, the Exsanguinators, let's see, who else was in this particular army? I believe it was just these two, the Circle of Blood and the Night Riders. Once again, a fantastic name. Well done to the army and well done to Abarash. Before we're done here, I just want to see in one thing. They spawn, right? Spawn legendary hero Black Grail Knights. Okay, wait, no, they should spawn outside of Castle Carcassonne, and there they are. 12 units, so the hero is actually a hero unit of those Black Grail Knights. Fantastic. Fantastic. Passive ability, the Black Chant. Calls upon the name of Nagash. And they can get Black Grail Knight, Barded Mares, and Skeletal Hippogriff Revenants as well. And ooh, they give Pike Formation, or they can give Pike Formation for the Black Grail Squires as well. Fascinating. Fascinating. But that's it. That's all. There you have it, folks. The final battle has come and gone, and this campaign is now concluded. Never to see banishment to the Shadow Channel. If you guys enjoyed this even a tenth as much as I did, I'll know you had a blast. Let me know your thoughts on this incredible mod and on running modded campaigns in general on this channel in the comments below. I'd really love to hear them. Otherwise, perhaps a bit of a bittersweet ending, but the engagement and the viewership and interest has dropped at this time, and you know, it's never a good idea to overstay your welcome. It's time for Abarash, eternal wanderer that he is, to vanish into the mists of time once more and return when there are once again great foes to be found, for to fight and feed upon the weak demeans the noble followers of the path, and all that remains upon this map are the weak. Glory to Abarash, first Blood Dragon and Warrior Ascendant. Glory to the Blood Dragons, and glory to all of you for sticking with this campaign to the end. And thanks for watching.